Dorothy lived on a farm in Kansas with her aunt and uncle and her little dog Toto. One day, a terrible tornado came and picked up the house. The terrible wind spun the house around and around and around. Dorothy was hit in the head with a piece of wood and fell to the floor as the house continued to spin around. When Dorothy awoke, the house had finally stopped spinning. She cautiously opened the door. This doesn't look like Kansas. She noticed a crowd of happy people who cried, "Thank you for saving us from the Wicked Witch of the East." And there, sticking out from under the house, were 2 feet wearing red shoes. Dorothy's house had landed on the Wicked Witch. "Oh dear," said Dorothy. Just then, Glinda, the Good Witch, appeared and offered to help Dorothy get home with the help of the Wizard of Oz. Take the magic red shoes from the Wicked Witch's feet to the Wizard of Oz, and he will help you. Just follow the yellow brick road to Oz, the Emerald City, said Glinda the Good Witch. Just then, the Wicked Witch of the East sister appeared. She was the Wicked Witch of the West. "I want those red shoes," she hissed. Dorothy hurried away with her dog Toto down the yellow brick road to the Emerald City of Oz. She met a scarecrow who needed a brain. "Come with me, and the wizard can help you too," said Dorothy. They all set off down the yellow brick road. Soon they met a Tin Man who needed a heart. He joined them on their way to see the wizard. Later, a lion leapt from the forest. Toto barked loudly, and the lion began to cry. "I am supposed to be the king of the animals, but I have no courage," the lion said. "The wizard can help you," said Dorothy.
Oh.
And the lion joined all of them on their journey to see the wizard. Soon they saw the Emerald City in the distance. They met the Wizard of Oz, and he asked them to bring the Wicked Witch of the West's broomstick. We have to do it, they all agreed, or they would not get the help they needed. The Wicked Witch could see through her magic crystal ball that Dorothy and her friends were coming to get her. The witch sent out her magic monkeys, who fought off the lion, the scarecrow, and the Tin Man. The monkeys brought Dorothy and Toto to the witch. The witch locked up Dorothy and took the red shoes. Toto snuck away to get their friends to help rescue Dorothy from the Wicked Witch. Dorothy's friends, the scarecrow, the lion, and the Tin Man, crept into the castle and freed Dorothy. When the witch saw them, she shot sparks at the scarecrow, who burst into flames. Dorothy grabbed a bucket full of water and threw it on her scarecrow friend to save him. She also managed to soak the Wicked Witch. When the water hit the witch, she started to melt away. "I'm melting! I'm melting!" And soon, the Wicked Witch was just a giant puddle. Dorothy and her friends grabbed the witch's broomstick and headed back to the Wizard of Oz. When they arrived, the wizard admitted to them that he was just a regular man and he was no wizard. But he did have some things that would help them. He gave the scarecrow a diploma, the Tin Man a clockwork heart, and the lion a medal for bravery.
Oh.
"But how can I get home to Kansas?" asked Dorothy. Just then the Good Witch appeared and said, "Don't worry, you helped your friends and I will help you. Just click those red shoes together and say, 'There's no place like home,' and you'll see." So Dorothy said goodbye to her friends and picked up Toto and clicked her heels together 3 times, while saying, "There's no place like home." Magically, she was home with her aunt and uncle in Kansas. What an adventure, thought Dorothy. There really is no place like home, she said, as she hugged her aunt and uncle and her little dog Toto. The end. Every afternoon after school, the children loved to play in a huge garden that surrounded a deserted castle. They loved to play there. One day while playing, a great voice yelled out, "What are you doing in my garden?" It seems the giant had returned back to his castle, and he did not want the children to play there. He shouted at them and told them to leave and never come back. They all ran away as fast as they could. The giant then built a huge spiked fence around his garden, so none of the children could ever get in. The giant put a large gate in the fence with a sign that said, "Keep out," in big black letters. The children would pass by and look sadly at their favorite place to play. They really missed playing in the beautiful garden. Soon fall and winter came and covered everything in snow and frost. The giant looked out his castle window at his snow-covered garden and wished for spring to come. Spring did come, everywhere except in the giant's garden. The snow and frost were thrilled to have a place to stay forever. One morning, the giant was lying awake in bed when he heard a bird singing. He leapt from his bed to look out the window. His whole garden was in spring bloom. The snow and frost were finally gone. Then he noticed all the children playing in his garden. You see, they had snuck into the garden through a hole in the wall, and spring had followed them in. One little boy was crying because he could not climb the trees like all the other children. He was just too small to reach. The giant helped the small boy to the top of the tree. The little boy gave the giant a hug and a kiss and said thank you. The giant thought it was time to let the children play in his garden, so he knocked down the big wall. The children played every day in the giant's beautiful garden. When the giant realized he had not seen the little boy he had helped to the top of the tree, he asked the other children, "Where is your little friend?" "We do not know," said the children. The giant asked the children every day if they had seen their little friend. The children told the giant, "The only day we saw him was the day you knocked down the wall." The years passed and the giant grew old and weak, and he could no longer play with the children. One cold winter morning, he was looking out the window, and he noticed the most beautiful tree he had ever seen.
Wow!
The tree was covered with delicate white blossoms with silver fruit, and beneath the tree was the little boy who had gone missing for so long. "He's come back at last," said the giant joyfully. Forgetting how old and weak he was, the giant rushed down the castle stairs and hurried across the garden. But as he neared closer towards the little boy, he saw bruises and cuts and nail marks in his hands and feet. "Who has hurt you?" asked the giant. "As old and feeble as I am, I will kill the people who have done this to you." The small child smiled gently and said, "Hush, don't be angry, but come with me." "Who are you?" whispered the giant, falling to his knees. "A long time ago, you let me play in your garden," the child replied. "Now, I want you to come and play in my garden. It is called Paradise." That afternoon, when the children came to play in the garden in the winter snow, they found their giant friend lying dead. The old giant looked so peaceful. He seemed to have a beautiful, peaceful, gentle smile on his quiet face. The giant was covered in small, beautiful white flower blossoms. The children thought he looked so happy and at rest. They said sweet prayers for him to be playing with children angels in a gorgeous paradise garden forever. The children always remembered the giant for his kind heart and generous spirit, and played in his garden forever. Once upon a time, there was a cottage in the woods where 3 bears lived. There was a great big daddy bear, a middle-sized mummy bear, and a teeny-weeny baby bear. One morning, Mummy Bear made porridge for their breakfast. The porridge was too hot to eat. So they decided to go for a walk while the porridge was cooling off. A lovely girl named Goldilocks went for a walk into the woods. Even though her mother had warned her not to go for a walk alone because she could get lost. Goldilocks, with her long blonde braids, went for a long walk and soon came across the bear's cottage. Goldilocks had no idea who lived in this cottage. Goldilocks was tired after walking for so long, so she knocked on the cottage door to see if anyone was home. Goldilocks soon realized she was lost and she just needed to rest, and she needed a sip of water. No one was answering her knocks on the door. Then she realized the door was open. And when she looked into the cottage, she saw 3 chairs with 3 bowls of porridge in front of them. She was so hungry, so she tried the big bowl of porridge. "Ouch," she said. "This porridge is too hot." And then she tried the medium-sized bowl of porridge. "Ugh, this porridge is too cold," said Goldilocks. Then she tried the teeny-weeny bowl of porridge. This porridge is just right." Goldilocks ate all the porridge in the teeny-weeny bowl. She then looked around and saw 3 comfy chairs. First, she sat in the big chair. "Oh, this chair is way too big," said Goldilocks. Then she tried the medium-sized chair. "Oh no, this chair is still way too big." Then she tried the teeny-weeny chair, and it broke. Goldilocks was getting so tired, so she decided to take a look upstairs for somewhere to rest. She found a large bedroom with 3 different size beds. First, she tried the big bed and said, "Ouch, this bed is too hard." So she tried the medium-sized bed. "Oh, this bed is way too soft," said Goldilocks. Then she tried the teeny-weeny bed. "Ah, this bed is just right." Goldilocks found it so comfortable, she closed her eyes and fell asleep. Meanwhile, the 3 bears were returning from their walk. The bears were shocked to see all their porridge had been tasted, and Baby Bear's bowl was totally empty. Then they noticed someone had been sitting in their chairs, and Baby Bear's chair was broken. The 3 bears walked upstairs. Daddy Bear said, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" Mummy Bear said, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" Baby Bear said, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" and they are still here. Just then, Goldilocks woke up and saw the three bears. She screamed, jumped out of bed, and ran down the stairs as fast as she could, and out the front door, and ran until she finally saw her house and her mother. Goldilocks promised her mother she would never go to the forest by herself again. Goldilocks told her mom how she had become lost and found a cottage that three bears lived in. She told her mom that she was scared by the bears and she ran away. She never wanted to feel scared by the bears again. And that was the last the three bears ever saw of Goldilocks. The end. Once upon a time, there was a mother pig who told her three little pigs it was time for them to build their own home and move out. She told them to build their homes to be safe from the big bad wolf. The first little pig bought some straw and built his house. Soon enough, a wolf came along and knocked on his door. The wolf asked, little piggy, let me come in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," answered the little pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And the wolf blew down the little piggy's straw house. The second little pig built a house made of sticks. Along came the wolf, who said, little piggy, let me come in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," said the little pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the wolf. The wolf blew down the stick house. The third little piggy made a house of bricks. He built a very strong house. Soon enough, along came the wolf. He knocked on the pig's door and said, little piggy, let me come in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," said the pig. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the wolf. So the wolf huffed and he puffed, but he could not blow down the strong brick house. The wolf sat down and wondered how he could get that nice little pig outside the brick house. Then he had an idea. "Little pig," he called, "come with me to the farmer's turnip field. It is quite full of nice turnips. I will come for you at 6 o'clock tomorrow." "Okay," said the little pig. But the clever little pig got up at 5 o'clock and went to the turnip field and gathered all the turnips he could carry. He was back home at 6 when the wolf arrived. The wolf was very angry when he realized he had been tricked, but he did not show it. He had another plan. He thought of another idea to get the pig out of his house. The wolf invited the pig to the fair and said, "We can meet and go together at 3 o'clock sharp." The pig squealed, "Oh, I love fairs. I would love to go." The little pig slipped out early to the fair and had a wonderful time, playing games and eating cotton candy. He even bought a nice new barrel to collect his rainwater. On the way home from the fair, he saw the wolf coming up to meet him. The little pig climbed into his new barrel to hide. The barrel began to roll and rolled right past the wolf. The barrel scared the wolf and he ran all the way home. After a while, the wolf went to tell the pig about the strange barrel that was rolling right towards him. The little pig laughed and said, "It was only a barrel," the little pig told him. "I was inside the barrel." The big bad wolf did not like to be laughed at, and he was tired of the little pig's tricks. He was also very hungry. He wanted to eat the little pig. "Little pig, I am tired of your tricks. The time has come to eat you up." It had been so easy to huff and puff and blow down the straw and stick houses, but he had to figure out what to do to get into this little pig's brick house. The big bad wolf looked up and saw the chimney for the fireplace. And then he jumped up on the roof and shouted down, little piggy, down the chimney I will come to get you and eat you up." The little piggy put a huge pot of boiling water over the fire just in time. The big bad wolf jumped into the chimney and fell all the way down, right into the pot of hot water. And that was the end of the big bad wolf.